Hey guys, Jexie here. Welcome back to another video. So this is just going to be a short video in which I give you count them, 5 tips on how to get through the holidays while in recovery. It's not always easy to do, and this is just from my experience, 5 ways that have helped me get through the holidays. Okay, so again, these 5 tips are obviously not the only ways to get through the holidays. They may not work for everybody, but this is what I found worked for me and the suggestions I generally give to other people when they ask me what to do to make sure they can get through the holidays clean or sober. So my first tip, my number 1 tip is make a plan. What do I mean by that? Well, know what your plans are. What are you doing? Are you visiting family? Are you staying home alone? Are you, have some sort of idea of where you're going and what you're doing. It sounds kind of obvious, but the fact is that how you are going to react to situations is going to make a big difference depending on whether you're going to be by yourself or whether you're going to be with like a whole bunch of family. Part of that plan is knowing who you're going to be around, who's coming. Do you have like your best friend coming over to spend the holidays with you? Are you going to be at a family member's house who has a lot of alcohol or people who use? Having an idea of what situation may occur. Now, keep in mind, things come up and you may not be able to plan everything exactly, but having a really good idea of the kind of situations that you may be in, who you may be around, and where you'll be will help you come up with a plan. And what kind of plan do I mean? It's just an idea of when it's like just regular planning, right? Like you're going to a wedding, you're going to a party, I do the same thing. Who's going to be there? Where is it? How far am I from home? Do I have cell service, right? Just planning out the basics is step number 1. All right, so my tip number 2 is have a buddy. Have a buddy. Now, this can happen in a variety of ways. 1, maybe you can bring your buddy with you. If you're home alone for the holidays, maybe you have someone who can come over and spend that time with you. Maybe you can bring somebody with you to your family's house, right? Or maybe you just have a buddy who is also in recovery, who is also nervous about how to get through the holidays. This person you can call, text, arrange check-in times. Know that you have somebody who commits to answering you or commits to checking in on you. And this has to be a dual thing. If they commit to doing it for you, then you really should commit to doing it for them. Check in. How's everything going? Are you holding up okay? Knowing that if you call, like say, hey, if I call you, can you please promise to answer? Knowing that someone will answer the phone if you call really can bring a lot of relief. Knowing that there's someone who you don't have to try to explain why you're feeling some sort of way or where you're at, that you're just calling and saying like, oh, having a hard time. And they get it and they know. So having a buddy that's prearranged ahead of time can really, really help when things go awry or when feelings pop up that you're not ready for. All right, so number 3, be as honest as you possibly can for the situation. I'm somebody who is very open about the fact that I am in recovery. And so the beginning holidays for me, I was very open with my family. I let them know I'm in recovery. I don't drink. And not that I have a family of big drinkers anyway, so it wasn't like a huge deal. But I make sure that people know that because then they don't ask me if I want a glass of wine. They don't ask me if I want a beer, right? I don't get asked those questions because they know I'm in recovery. Now, I know that this is not something that you can always do, but sometimes you can even just let people know, hey, this is the first holidays I've been going to. Maybe there's a family member, just one family member who's going to be there that you can let them know how you're feeling. The more honest you can be, the easier it is. Because it's so much easier to tell somebody in your family, I'm really struggling right now. I gotta step outside, or I don't know how long I can stay. This is kind of rough for me. The more honest you can be, the less pressure there is. So obviously that's not something that everybody can do. It does depend on your personal situation, but it is something to think about. Okay, so tip number 4, expect the unexpected. No matter how much you plan, things can go wrong. You have a buddy that you arrange, they're going to answer your calls, you call them, they don't answer. You're going to a family's house and nobody, everybody said they weren't bringing alcohol, and then your crazy uncle shows up with a 40 and a joint, whatever. Expect the unexpected. Expect that no matter how much you plan, things may go crazy, right? Something could go wrong. And just know that the planning factor of these tips is to ease yourself. A lot of times when we set up plans, we think through things way more than we need to. We prepare for things that would never happen. Have you ever done that? I thought about what I would do if I saw a runaway train with a kitten on the track and a boy on a bike coming down a hill, right? That's not happening, but we think that stuff, right? And we think through how we would respond. So by having the plan at the beginning, you probably have come up with a lot of the unexpected things that could come up and prepared yourself for it. So if something unexpected comes up, just know your plan probably will work for it anyway. And know you have a buddy you can call and say, oh my gosh, this thing just happened. I wasn't expecting it, right? And finally, number 5, give yourself a break. It is okay that you are worried about getting through the holidays. We all are at the beginning, and sometimes we still are. It's normal. Holidays can be stressful. Families can be stressful. You add that all together and throw on recovery and forget it. It's a powder keg, right? But give yourself a break. There's nothing wrong with stepping outside or stepping away, right? Run to the store, get a bottle of water, whatever you got to do to remove yourself from the situation if it gets too much. That's okay to feel that way. It's okay if you're home alone and realize I can't be in this house by myself, and you get in your car and go for a drive, or you're with your family and you're like, this is way overwhelming. Excuse me for a second. Nobody's going to ask you where you're going. And if they are, who cares? Go for a walk, call your buddy. It's all right. I think the biggest thing to know is that the fears and the stresses that you're feeling are so normal. We all feel that way, especially at the beginning. Recovery is hard. Early recovery is even harder. And the fact is that the holidays should be a time that you enjoy yourself. Especially if you're not using anymore. That's a huge thing. So be proud of yourself. Give yourself a break and just know that there are people you can reach out to. Look, I'm not anybody special. I'm just a person in recovery, but I have a Discord, I have a Twitter, and I respond to everybody. You leave a comment on this video, I respond. You message me on Discord or Twitter, I respond. And I do that because I know what it was like for someone to respond to me. So if you have nobody, you don't have a buddy, you don't have somebody, and you need somebody to be able to answer your tweets on a holiday, let me know. I'll be that for you as much as I possibly can. We have a great community here, and I'm so grateful for it. So, I hope you get through it. Let me know. I want to know if you're worried, and then after the holidays, I want to know if these tips helped you. Or maybe they didn't, but it's just something that helps me when I get overwhelmed. Sometimes even like going to weddings or other things that come up when I'm in recovery that I know I feel some sort of way about. I use these same tips to get through them. So let me know if they've been helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, it would be great if you did. It helps me out so much. I have a Patreon. I have all sorts of things in the description. Remember, every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m., we do live trivia, which is a lot of fun. You don't have to be in recovery to come play. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great holiday season, and please reach out if you need to. Bye, everyone.